BYU 37, UCF 24. Cougs now 8-0, 5-0 in Big 12 play. Mitch Harper, Matt Baiamonte here in Orlando. Matt, BYU looked like they were pulling away. It was going to be a dominant victory. Got a little bit closer than the final score would indicate, but BYU makes another statement in Super Bowl number 8, as they're calling it.
And I loved that final drive, too. That third down run by Jake, 3rd and 9, that was a critical play. Momentum was favoring UCF at that time. They go on to eat up, 6 minutes of clock. It results in a field goal, but it pushes the lead to 3 scores. That was the ball game. This offense continues to improve. They outran this great rushing team in UCF today. That was big for LJ and Hinckley and Jake. It was a really nice performance.
BYU always has an answer this season. You think back to that third down that you just noted. Into the second quarter, a little bit of the momentum's going to UCF at 17-10. BYU's got about 59 seconds left on the clock in the second quarter. Jake Retzloff gets a big grin, takes the field, and him and Chase Roberts connect for a 60-plus yard touchdown. It was huge, and I think it kind of deflated any hopes of UCF coming back and winning this game. I thought that was critical for BYU.
I love that Aaron Roderick, Kalani Sitake, this coaching staff, they have trust in Jake to run the 2-minute. Because after last week's situation at the end of the first half, you might have thought they're going to run the ball, they're not going to want to throw another interception. No, they wanted more points. They were the better team decisively in that first half. But things happened to where it was a one-score game, and to your point, Mitch, that was a critical play to make the score look reflective of what was happening on the field.
Help it make sense, though, Matt, how BYU is an underdog. How were they an underdog in this game? Like, we were talking in extended pregame that BYU's clearly the better football team. It was just a matter of them playing to their level. UCF was a one-trick pony. They were one-dimensional, and we saw it the whole game with Jakari Brown. They had a few completions that were okay, but I'm just confused at how BYU was an underdog. At some point, people need to start acknowledging BYU's a really good football team.
I hope it comes in the first rankings of the college football playoff, because this is a great resume. They have great wins. There's no reason to doubt these guys. Look, are they one of the 3 best teams in college football right now? No, probably not, but they're in that next group. And for there to be conversation like, oh, they might not get a top seed, even if they win the league, Boise might get it. Like, come on, man. What are we talking about here?
It was funny in the ESPN broadcast before this game. They were talking about Ole Miss's resume. And it's like, they got 2 losses. That's got to account for something. And I know that's a side point. We'll get to all that later. But today I thought this was a big win. And it should be noted, I know it's kind of easy to always point to, but man, I was so impressed with the BYU crowd.
Oh, yeah.
It just really stood out. There were so many BYU fans here. At stretches in the second half, there were more BYU fans in the stands than UCF fans. UCF fans gave up. They were done.
What'd you think of the moment, too, where, this might be the most crazy moment in the history of BYU football, but you score a touchdown, you take a commanding lead, while SpaceX is launching a rocket. You can see it outside the stadium. That was cool.
I was tempted to ask Kalani about it, but I know he would have been like, I didn't have an idea. And granted, it was behind him, but that was so cool. And what was awesome, too, was it coincided with Mata Avatase's touchdown catch, which was pretty awesome, or touchdown. And that was in 14 personnel. That was a fun moment for BYU. Some other notes from this game. I thought LJ Martin was impressive, another 100-yard performance. It should be noted he was not
on the final drive.
On the final drive, but he was on the sideline, and he felt okay. Hinckley Rapati got an even lion's share of carries. We talked in the preseason about LJ and Hinckley. They're looking like the guys we were talking about in the preseason.
Yeah, that's a really nice 1-2 punch. And the fact that you're not solely reliant on one person, and that goes for the whole offense, Mitch. You're not reliant on one receiver. You're not reliant on one tight end, one running back. It's a balanced offense. And look, I thought this was one of their best offensive performances of the game. They controlled the line of scrimmage for good portions of it. They doubled up the time of possession. Over 40 minutes time of possession. You're going to win a lot of football games when you're taking care of the football. That fumble, I didn't love that play call. I thought, I get it. Maybe you're thinking, let's catch him off guard and put the game away, but just take care of the football. But it didn't matter in the end. I thought it was a really good offensive performance.
Outside of the 54-yard rush from R.J. Harvey, I thought BYU did a really good job stopping the run. That 54-yard rush set up a UCF touchdown. At the end of the game, UCF had a little bit of success with the 4-string quarterback, number 10, Risk. And that's an area where you want to get better, but at the same time, as Blake Mangelson noted, it was backups, and he wasn't excusing it. Like, he knows that they can get better, but...
It's a hard situation, Mitch, because you want to get out of the game healthy. The game is won in your mind, and the other team is fighting for their lives, it's just a hard situation. I don't fault them.
Yeah, it was BYU had the game in hand, and they took care of business, and they got it done. And they seemed like they relatively got out healthy. Maury Bamba went in the tent for a brief moment at the, in the game, but by all accounts, BYU seemed to be pretty much okay on the health front, and it was a pretty clean sheet of personnel coming into this game. So BYU's in a great spot. Now they go into a bye, and in 2 weeks, it's the big one, the rivalry game against the Utes, Big 12 showdown. Going to be a lot of fun. Monday we'll find out the kick-out off time for BYU and Utah. Can't wait to see that. So we will have full coverage on KSLSports.com, the KSL Sports app. Monday night, Cougar Nation will be on the air 6 to 7, breaking down this game. We want to hear from you. 801-575-8255. We'll take your phone calls. As the Cougs are 8-0, you got to love life, Cougar Nation. We'll talk to you next time.